Every day, you make small money decisions that feel harmless. $5 here. A shortcut there. A choice you promise yourself doesn't really matter. But those small decisions don't stay small. They quietly compound into stress, debt, and lost freedom. Most people don't ruin their financial future with one big mistake, they do it slowly, without realizing it. And by the time they wake up, it's already expensive. Before we continue, one quick note. I'm not a financial advisor or a personal finance professional. Everything I share here comes from real-life experience, years of reading, research, and a genuine passion for investing and personal finance. This is about learning, thinking critically, and making better choices, not personalized financial advice. The illusion of, it's just a small amount. Let's start by talking about one of the most important pillars of financial life, budgeting. Creating a plan to spend your money wisely, based on your income and your expenses, is what allows you to save, avoid overspending, and cover everything you actually need. More than just a spreadsheet, a budget is the foundation of financial planning. It helps you set short and long-term goals and prepares you for the unexpected. Taking control of your finances through a well-structured budget leads to less stress and more prosperity, opening the door to milestones like buying a home, paying for your children's education, enjoying meaningful vacations, and retiring with peace of mind. However, there's a powerful mental trap that can quietly sabotage all of this. It's that voice that whispers, "It's just $10, it won't make a difference." You might even believe you're testing your self-control, convincing yourself that you can handle just a little. But here's the truth, the dollar amount is not what matters in this mechanism. When you make that small bet, whether it's gambling, an impulse purchase, or any so-called insignificant financial decision, you're not just risking a small amount of money. You're reactivating a neural pathway you worked hard to shut down, sending a signal to your brain that the door to that behavior is still open. And all it takes is a crack for brain chemistry to take over. Why does this happen? Because the brain doesn't distinguish between a penny and a fortune when it comes to pleasure mechanisms. Many people believe addiction, especially gambling, is driven by the desire to win large amounts of money. But neuroscience tells a different story. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and anticipation, is released mainly by uncertainty, not by the size of the reward. This is known as the reward prediction error. Whether you're betting $1 or $1,000, the chemical reaction in your brain is surprisingly similar. The anticipation of, what if, floods your system with dopamine. That's exactly why the, just a little, trap is the hardest one to escape. If you suddenly felt the urge to gamble all your savings at once, your survival instincts would immediately sound the alarm. But $10? It feels safe, manageable, and harmless, which is why it slips under your self-protection radar. This is the illusion of control. You think, I'll stop after this one, but the very act begins to shut down the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic and self-control. The emotional brain takes over, and at that point, the rational promise to stop at $10 becomes meaningless. Think of your habit or temptation like a path in a forest. When it was active, it was a wide, paved road. During recovery, you allow that path to close, with vegetation growing and blocking the way. Every small relapse, every, just one bet, or tiny impulse expense, is like driving a tractor down that road again, clearing it and keeping it open so traffic can return even stronger. This is where financial discipline becomes your greatest ally. Financial discipline is the practice of creating rules and consistently following informed decisions about spending and saving in order to reach your goals. The combination of self-discipline and financial discipline is what allows you to manage money successfully, avoid debt, and handle unexpected situations. But to build that discipline, the first step is recognizing the habits that quietly sabotage you. There are 3 spending habits that are particularly dangerous to your financial health. The first is random spending, the kind that comes from a lack of routine, like buying breakfast because you woke up late, even though you could have prepared it at home for a fraction of the cost. The solution begins with training discipline through structure and consistency. The second is social spending, when you spend simply because others are spending. Whether it's to avoid looking cheap or to impress people, you end up buying things you don't actually need, slowly damaging your long-term budget. Taking initiative helps here. Suggest low-cost alternatives, like hosting friends at home instead of going out. The third, and probably the most common, is temporary impulse spending. The temptation to buy something interesting, especially when it's on sale, is powerful. The technique is simple: pause. When you pick up the item, stop and ask yourself, do I really need this? Don't I have more important priorities right now? Having a predetermined budget specifically for discretionary spending creates a conscious barrier. You become more aware, you think twice before crossing the limit, and your spending stays under the control of reason instead of emotion. Of course, this only works if you make a firm commitment not to refill that fund once it's gone. Understanding the illusion behind small amounts is the first essential step toward disarming this trap and building a strong defense for your financial future. Lifestyle creep you don't notice. Living within your means is the cornerstone of financial health. On the surface, it sounds simple: spend less than or equal to what you earn. But in real life, balancing that equation is one of the hardest challenges, especially when money is tight, credit is easy, and small expenses quietly pile up. Consistently spending more than you earn doesn't just prevent you from saving. It can trigger a dangerous debt cycle where interest compounds, your credit score takes a hit, and goals like buying a home or enjoying a peaceful retirement drift further and further away. Have you ever caught yourself imagining how you'd spend a raise or a bonus? Maybe you pictured renovating your home, saving for your children's college, or finally paying off that credit card balance. But then the money hits your account, disappears almost instantly, and your goals remain untouched. So where did the money go? The answer has a name: lifestyle creep. It's a silent phenomenon that happens when your spending gradually rises at the same pace, or even faster, than your income. The real danger of lifestyle creep is how subtle it is. Our financial habits form almost invisibly, shaped by events and influences around us, and we rarely stop to question them. What used to be an occasional luxury, like dining at a nicer restaurant, quickly becomes part of your normal routine. A subscription here, a device upgrade there, a more expensive hobby over time. Each change feels small on its own, but together they create a real and lasting impact on your monthly finances. So what actually causes lifestyle creep? The most obvious trigger is an increase in income. When your salary goes up or you receive a bonus, you feel more secure and naturally relax your discipline, allowing expenses you once avoided. But that's not the only factor. General economic inflation can push up the cost of basic necessities, eating away at your budget and leaving less room to save. Social pressure also plays a powerful role. Watching friends, co-workers, or influencers live a certain lifestyle can create an unconscious urge to keep up. And then there's easy credit. Higher card limits and flexible payment options create the illusion that you have more room to spend, even when your real income hasn't meaningfully changed. The consequences are serious. The first is the erosion of your financial safety. As expenses rise, savings are usually the first thing to be sacrificed, or worse, you start dipping into emergency funds just to support your new lifestyle. That leads directly to the second consequence: growing debt. To maintain the pace, many people lean on credit cards, digging themselves into a hole that's hard to escape because of high interest rates. Finally, stress and regret take over. The pressure of sustaining a lifestyle beyond your means creates anxiety, can push you to work more just to keep up, and eventually leads to regret for drifting away from your true long-term goals. The good news is that this trap is avoidable. It all starts with awareness and proactive planning. The most powerful tool you have is your budget. Keep it active, updated, and treat it as a non-negotiable guide for prioritizing your goals, even when your income increases. When a raise, bonus, or extra income comes in, plan ahead. Decide immediately what percentage will go toward investments, emergency savings, or debt reduction. A good starting point is at least 50%, and only then decide how to use the rest. Adopt the principle of paying yourself first. Treat saving and investing as the most important expense of the month, and transfer that money the moment your paycheck hits your account. This ensures your future is prioritized before the money has a chance to quietly disappear. On top of that, monitor your spending closely. If you notice non-essential categories creeping up, identify the cause and act quickly. Finally, keep your long-term goals constantly visible. Reviewing them regularly strengthens your resolve and acts as a powerful antidote to spending driven by status or short-term impulses. Lifestyle creep is a tide that rises slowly. Without vigilance, you only realize you're drowning when you're already in deep water. The antidote is intentionality, consciously deciding where every extra dollar goes, making sure it works to build your future, not just inflate your present. Comfort today versus freedom tomorrow. We often see discipline as something restrictive and uncomfortable. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Discipline is the foundation of real freedom. Every moment of focus, every habit you build, and every responsibility you take on today is an investment that compounds over time, creating opportunity, control, and peace of mind in the future. Freedom is not just the absence of limits, it's the presence of options. The hard effort you put in today is the most direct path to autonomy tomorrow. One of the most powerful insights you can develop is understanding that happiness is a choice. We frequently fall into the trap of believing our well-being depends on external circumstances, our job, our relationships, or our bank balance. But sustainable happiness is an internal state, a conscious decision to approach life with gratitude and purpose. This realization puts the power back in your hands. Alongside it, self-acceptance becomes critical. Many people tie their self-worth to their net worth, as if personal value were measured by financial success. That belief fuels destructive behaviors, like spending to impress others or hoarding money out of fear. True wealth begins when you detach from that equation and find value in who you are, not just in what you own. Another deeply liberating concept is focusing only on what you can control. We waste enormous amounts of energy worrying about the economy, other people's opinions, or unpredictable events, all of which only increase stress. In your financial journey, you control your spending, your savings rate, your investment decisions, and most importantly, your response to unexpected situations. You don't control the stock market or other people's choices. When you focus your energy on the levers you actually hold, you make decisions based on logic and planning, not fear. That's how wealth is built consistently, and anxiety is reduced along the way. For many people, however, the past still holds the keys to the present. Previous financial experiences, a major mistake, a belief absorbed during childhood, or even a financial trauma, can quietly shape your behavior without you realizing it. The key is recognizing that your past does not have to dictate your future. Breaking free requires courage and self-reflection, sometimes even facing uncomfortable truths. But this process is essential to rebuilding a healthy relationship with money and making room for a new mindset. Wealth building also becomes deeper and more fulfilling when you incorporate social interest, the idea that your financial choices can positively impact others and your community. Genuine wealth goes beyond accumulation, it includes legacy and contribution. Ask yourself how your investments can support ethical practices or local businesses. Consider how your success might create opportunities for others, whether through mentorship, philanthropy, or simply by setting an example. Integrating purpose into your financial strategy doesn't just expand your impact, it brings a sense of fulfillment that money alone can never buy. At the core of all these choices is delayed gratification. Resisting short-term temptations in favor of long-term gains is the essence of financial discipline. Every decision to save instead of spend, to invest instead of consume, is a brick in the bridge that leads to independence. This practice builds patience and resilience, turning temporary restriction into a lasting advantage. And that bridge only holds through consistency. Discipline is not a single heroic act, it's showing up daily, repeating the habit even when it feels hard. These consistent patterns reduce reliance on luck and create a stable, predictable foundation. Ultimately, discipline is your greatest protection against regret. The lack of intentional action today is the breeding ground for missed opportunities tomorrow. When you take control of your financial plan with focus and self-control, you're building a future where you can live with confidence and purpose. Discipline turns theoretical knowledge into practical power. Knowing about investing means nothing if you don't have the discipline to apply it month after month. It's consistent execution that creates freedom. In the end, the equation is simple: discipline today equals freedom tomorrow. What feels like sacrifice in the present, sticking to your budget, investing automatically, making conscious choices, is actually the most powerful form of preparation. This daily effort of focus and intentionality builds the autonomy that allows you to live on your own terms, with real options and peace of mind. True freedom is not given. It's earned, deliberately, one day at a time. If this video made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Drop a comment below and tell me which small habit you're committing to starting today. I read every comment, and your response might help someone else take action too. If you're serious about building a better financial future through simple, real-life decisions, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you know someone who's stuck making the same small mistakes over and over, share this video with them. Sometimes one video at the right moment can change everything. Small habits that quietly build wealth. Many people believe that wealth is the result of big lucky breaks, inheritances, or extremely high salaries. But the reality, especially here in the United States, is very different. Real wealth is almost always built through small, consistent, nearly invisible habits repeated intentionally every single day. Your financial trajectory is not defined by one spectacular event, but by the quiet accumulation of daily choices. In the end, wealth depends less on how much you earn and far more on how well you manage what you already have. The first and most powerful of these habits is the principle of paying yourself first. This means treating saving and investing as the most important expense of the month, just as non-negotiable as rent or a mortgage. Instead of waiting to see what's left at the end of the month, which almost never works. You automate a fixed transfer of part of your income directly into your retirement accounts, such as a 401k or a Roth IRA, or into a brokerage account. This simple act of prioritizing your future reduces the temptation to spend impulsively and allows compound interest to work in your favor, funding long-term goals and building real security. Lasting wealth is rarely flashy. It's built through discipline and shows up in routine. Small daily actions make the difference. Spending just 10 minutes a day reviewing your budget and tracking your expenses may seem insignificant, but this habit creates powerful financial awareness. You can't manage what you don't measure. Using an app or a simple spreadsheet to make your spending visible is the first step toward identifying and eliminating leaks in your budget. Another highly effective habit is meal planning. Eating out or ordering delivery for convenience is one of the biggest silent drains on your finances. Preparing meals at home just a few days a week can save you hundreds of dollars each month, while also promoting healthier eating and reducing waste. Intellectual growth is equally critical. People who build wealth are, for the most part, lifelong learners. Reading a few pages each day about personal finance, investing, or self-development sharpens your mindset, helps you make better decisions, and prevents you from learning everything the hard, and expensive, way. When it comes to investing, the key is not trying to time the market, but staying consistent. Investing regularly, even in modest amounts, into index funds or retirement accounts harnesses the power of compound interest over decades. Start early, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. Just as important as investing is the habit of intentional spending. Before any purchase, pause and ask yourself, do I really need this? Does this align with my long-term priorities? Spending with intention isn't about deprivation. It's about consciously saying yes to what truly matters to you. Another often missed opportunity is extra income. Tax refunds, bonuses, or cash gifts should be viewed as tools to accelerate your goals. Instead of spending them on something temporary, direct that money toward your emergency fund, paying off high-interest debt, or making an extra investment contribution. But knowledge alone is useless without action. A defining habit of financially successful people is their ability to implement quickly. They don't wait for the perfect plan. They learn something useful and put it into practice. Learn one new thing each week and apply one of them. That steady pace creates momentum. Along the way, learn from those who are ahead of you. Seek mentors, follow proven systems, and take advice seriously. In the real world, modeling successful behavior isn't copying, it's leveraging the experience of people who've already walked the path you want to take. To accelerate wealth building and increase resilience, consider creating multiple streams of income. This could be a side hustle, freelance work, rental income, or dividend-paying investments. Even a modest second income stream can be used strategically to pay down debt or invest more aggressively. Don't underestimate the impact of small leaks. Bank fees, late penalties, and forgotten subscriptions quietly drain your wealth. Periodically review your statements, cancel what you don't use, and move to low-fee or no-fee accounts. Every dollar saved here is a dollar that can be reinvested into your future. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, focus on progress, not perfection. You will face setbacks, everyone does. The habit that truly builds wealth is consistently getting back on track. Adjust your plan when needed, celebrate small wins, and keep your eyes fixed on long-term goals. There's no single magic formula, but there is a clear pattern. Sustainable wealth is the result of behaviors repeated over time. Start with one small habit today. It's this daily discipline, seemingly ordinary, that quietly turns a little into a lot. And steadily builds the financial freedom you're working toward. Before we go further, I want to be clear about something. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a personal finance professional. Everything I share here comes from years of reading, researching, and learning through real-life experience, including mistakes, lessons, and adjustments along the way. This content is meant to educate and inspire you to think differently about money, not to give personalized financial advice. Always do your own research and make decisions that fit your personal situation. The future you're creating without realizing. The financial challenges you're facing right now may feel like an insurmountable barrier between you and your dreams. But the truth about the future is this: it hasn't been written yet. Whether your goal is to build an emergency fund, pay off debt, or reach financial freedom so you can slow down your career or pursue a passion, the next chapters of your life are shaped by the actions you take today. All you need is a solid plan, some strategic guidance, and an unwavering commitment to keep your eyes on the prize. It all starts with a shift in mindset. For many people, money is nothing more than a tool to pay rent and cover monthly bills. But its real potential goes far beyond that. Wealth is what expands your options. It gives you the freedom to improve your own life, positively impact your community, and create a meaningful legacy. Developing this mindset requires embracing delayed gratification. We live in a world of instant rewards, same-day delivery, on-demand entertainment, immediate validation on social media. Building wealth moves in the opposite direction. It's a patient investment process where today's sacrifices, like postponing unnecessary purchases or investing consistently, are transformed into greater freedom and security in the future. To strengthen this mindset, try this exercise: visualize your future self 10 or 20 years from now. Some people can picture that future version of themselves with clarity and empathy, almost as if it were a natural extension of who they are today. Psychologists have observed that these individuals tend to make more responsible and ethical financial decisions because they feel a real connection to the well-being of the person they're becoming. Others see their future self as a distant stranger, a disconnect that leads to less concern about long-term consequences. The key is to start building a relationship with your future self. Treat that person as an ally who deserves your care and planning. Every intentional financial decision you make today is an act of respect toward the person you will become. That planning, however, goes far beyond numbers on a spreadsheet. Behind every dollar you spend, save, or invest, there's an internal, money script, a set of beliefs, emotions, and invisible rules shaped by your upbringing, culture, and life experiences. This script runs on autopilot and quietly drives your financial behavior. You can earn a high income and have a diversified portfolio and still feel anxious or misaligned with money. When that happens, the problem is rarely mathematical. It's usually a sign that your financial strategy is out of sync with your deeper values and identity. That's why the most effective financial planning integrates behavior and values. Understanding your money script allows you to identify the root cause of financial stress instead of just treating the symptoms, stop self-sabotaging patterns that once felt mysterious, align your strategy with how you actually function rather than an idealized version of yourself, and build a plan that works with your nervous system instead of against it. This isn't abstract philosophy. It's the foundation of practical, sustainable financial planning because it's personal and deeply human. One of the most powerful investments you can make is in your own financial education. Learning about budgeting, investing, compound interest, and risk management is just as important as developing skills in your career. This knowledge not only improves your results, but also gives you the ability to build generational wealth and pass solid principles on to your family. And the right moment to act is always now. Retirement may feel far away, but time is your greatest ally thanks to compound interest. Starting to save and invest early, even with small amounts, is one of the most impactful decisions you can make for your future. For many people, working with a qualified financial planner can be a powerful catalyst. A professional can help structure a personalized plan, avoid common mistakes, and turn wealth building into something clear, manageable, and actionable. As we close this video, remember this: financial stability and freedom are not about deprivation or luck. They're about awareness and intentional action in the present. It's about managing your current finances wisely, not only by cutting unnecessary expenses, but by deliberately directing your money toward what truly matters for your future. Each stage of life brings different needs, and good financial management is the ability to adapt and plan for each one. The future you want isn't going to magically arrive. It's being created, quietly, by the decisions you make today. Start building it on purpose. If this video helped you see money differently, don't let the lesson end here. Leave a comment below and tell me what your future self would thank you for starting today. If you want more content like this, real conversations about money, discipline, and long-term thinking, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. And if you know someone who's making small decisions today that could shape their future tomorrow, share this video with them. Sometimes one message, at the right time, can change everything. Thank you for watching, for investing your time here, and for being part of this journey. I'll see you in the next video.